Call General Eisenhower.
Tiger was a training op, dress rehearsal for D-Day. They walked right into it. One mistake. Just that one mistake.
Ike, you have to stop doing this to yourself. What's done is done.
There are moments in history when the world hangs by a thread, not because of explosions, not because of gunfire, but because of a decision made in a quiet room. And when I watched the first trailer for Pressure, I realized something immediately. This is not a typical World War II film. This is not about soldiers storming beaches. This is about the weight of a single choice, and the man forced to make it. Before we begin, would you please support me? Subscribing is free and very important to me. For better analysis and more videos, please subscribe and like. Brendan Fraser is stepping into one of the most consequential roles of his career. He is playing General Dwight D. Eisenhower in Pressure, a political war thriller centered on the 72 hours leading up to D-Day. And if this film delivers what the trailer promises, it may showcase a side of Fraser we have never fully seen before. For years, Fraser was synonymous with adventure. The Mummy trilogy turned him into a global star between 1999 and 2008. Then his momentum slowed. Hollywood moved on. But in 2022, everything changed. The Whale brought him back into the spotlight, earning him the Academy Award for Best Actor. That comeback was not just symbolic, it was seismic. Since then, Fraser has appeared in Killers of the Flower Moon in 2023, Brothers in 2024, and Rental Family in 2025. But Pressure feels different. It feels monumental. Focus Features has released the first official trailer, and the tone is clear from the first frame. This is not a battlefield epic. It is a chamber piece, a slow-burning political thriller set behind closed doors as the Allied High Command debates whether to launch the largest amphibious invasion in history. Fraser's Eisenhower is not shouting orders. He is listening, absorbing, calculating. The film focuses on the impossible decision he faces: move forward with Operation Overlord despite dangerous weather conditions and risk catastrophic failure, or delay the invasion and potentially prolong the war, costing thousands more lives. 72 hours. That is the window, and in that window, history waits. Director Anthony Maras brings this story to life, adapting it alongside David Haig from Haig's 2014 stage play. That theatrical origin is important. It explains the intensity of dialogue, the confined settings, the reliance on performance over spectacle. Andrew Scott co-stars as Royal Air Force meteorologist James Stagg, the man responsible for delivering the weather forecast that could determine whether D-Day proceeds. His character becomes the unlikely fulcrum of fate, a scientist advising generals, a quiet voice carrying enormous consequence. Watching the trailer, I felt the tension building not from gunfire, but from conversation. Charts spread across tables, cigarette smoke hanging in the air, generals debating storm systems while knowing thousands of lives depend on their conclusion. The supporting cast is equally compelling. Carrie Condon portrays Kay Summersby, Chris Messina plays Irving P. Crick, Damian Lewis takes on Bernard Montgomery, Henry Ashton appears as John Eisenhower, Con O'Neill portrays Trafford Lee Mallory. This is a stacked ensemble, but at the center of it all is Fraser. And what fascinates me is how he approaches Eisenhower. He does not portray him as an untouchable icon. Instead, he leans into the humanity, the uncertainty, the quiet burden of leadership. We have seen D-Day depicted before. Saving Private Ryan delivered visceral, unforgettable combat sequences. Countless documentaries and films have explored the invasion itself, but Pressure shifts the lens. Instead of showing the chaos on Omaha Beach, it examines the conversations that determined whether Omaha Beach would even happen. That perspective alone makes this film stand out, because sometimes the most dramatic battlefield is a conference room. The trailer positions Pressure as less of a traditional war film and more of a political thriller. The pacing feels deliberate. The tension builds gradually. It is about anticipation, about waiting, about knowing that once the order is given, there is no turning back. Fraser's performance appears restrained yet powerful. He conveys authority without arrogance, strength without spectacle. And in today's cinematic landscape, that kind of performance can resonate deeply. There is something timeless about stories centered on leadership under pressure, especially when that leadership involves decisions that could alter the course of global history. I find it fascinating that Fraser's career resurgence now includes roles of increasing gravitas. From emotional vulnerability in The Whale to historical significance in Pressure, he seems drawn toward characters carrying immense internal weight, and that weight is visible in the trailer. His Eisenhower looks tired, thoughtful, haunted by the magnitude of what lies ahead. Andrew Scott's James Stagg adds another layer. As the meteorologist delivering the forecast, he becomes both advisor and potential scapegoat. If the weather clears, he is validated. If the invasion fails due to storms, his prediction may be remembered forever. That dynamic creates tension not just between military leaders, but between science and strategy. Pressure is scheduled for release in the United States on May 29th, followed by a United Kingdom release on September 11th. That late spring release date positions it strategically, not buried in award season competition, but not lost in the summer blockbuster chaos either. And I think that might work in its favor. Audiences often respond strongly to intimate historical dramas when they are presented with authenticity and emotional depth rather than spectacle. The question is whether modern viewers will embrace a slower-paced, dialogue-driven World War II thriller. I believe there is room for it, because after years of large-scale war epics and CGI-heavy battle sequences, a film that explores the psychological weight behind those battles feels refreshing. Pressure appears to focus on negotiation, on doubt, on the internal struggle of command, and that might be precisely what sets it apart. The idea that a single weather forecast could determine the fate of nations is inherently cinematic. The idea that one man must choose between risk and delay, knowing that either choice carries devastating consequences, is deeply human. Fraser's portrayal of Eisenhower seems grounded in that humanity, not mythologized, not glorified, but human, and perhaps that is what makes this story compelling now. In a world increasingly aware of the complexity of leadership, films that examine the burden behind the title feel timely. Pressure does not appear to be about victory. It appears to be about doubt, and doubt, when handled well, can be more dramatic than any explosion. I will be watching closely as we approach its release, because if Fraser delivers the layered performance the trailer suggests, this could become one of the most quietly powerful historical dramas of the year. Let me know what you think. Are you more interested in war films that focus on the battlefield or the boardroom? Do you believe Brendan Fraser's post-Oscar career choices are elevating him into a new category of dramatic actors? As always, I will be breaking down more details as they emerge. History is often remembered for its loudest moments, but sometimes the most important decisions happen in silence. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments. This is where these kinds of films come to life. Until the next story, stay curious, be critical, keep your eyes on the screen, and remember, every film you haven't seen is a new film.